aficionados al box al Coliseo Rumiñahui en Quito, Ecuador, por el campeonato, por el título mediano vacante de la Federación Internacional de Boxeo. We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to Quito, Ecuador, for the main event of the evening for the vacant IBF Middleweight Championship of the World, brought to you by Don King Productions and Promotores Asociados en la cerveza más fina, Corona. This bout is sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, Presidente Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor Francisco Fernández, along with la Comisión de Boxeo Profesional de Pichincha, Presidente Enrique Juanín. Presentando a los jueces, the judges scoring this bout from ringside: Al DeVito, Paul Gibbs, and Francisco Hernandez. The referee in charge of this bout to give instructions after introductions, el referee es Sam Williams. Bien, amigos, esta es la pelea principal de la noche de 12 asaltos. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime. El Campeonato Peso Medio de la FIB, the IBF Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds. Presentando en la esquina azul, presenting first in the blue corner, wearing colors of the flag of Ecuador, red, blue, and gold trunks, originario de Esmeraldas y ahora representando Quito, Ecuador. Con un peso de 158 libras, he weighed in at a ready 158 pounds. Con un récord de 18 victorias, 2 derrotas, tiene 11 victorias por knockout. His outstanding record includes 18 wins, 2 losses, with 11 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the IBF number 2 ranked middleweight contender. Aquí está el retador número 2 en el mundo, representante en el boxeo mundial, al compatriota Segundo Mercado. En la esquina roja, his opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing black trunks with gold trim, el peleador de Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, en los Estados Unidos. Con un peso de 157 libras, he weighed in at 157 pounds. Con un récord de 26 victorias y 2 derrotas, con 19 ganadas por knockout. His outstanding record includes 26 wins, 2 losses, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. He is ranked the number 1 middleweight contender by the IBF. Here is the USBA middleweight champion. Aquí está el primer retador peso medio de la FIB, presentando Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins. Williams.
Well, we can't have no more now. All of us up there. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
All right, men. Let's have a good one. I want you to watch your headbutts, your low blows, your kidney punches. On my command to break, take a full step back with your hands up. Protect yourself at all times. In case of a knockdown, I'll send you to the furthest neutral corner. Remain there until I send for you. Good luck, men. Good luck.
Va a bailar conmigo, baby.
Sam Smith, Bertie Pacheco, we're ready for this, the IBF Middleweight Championship of the World. And Bertie, I can't help believing, though, that Bernard Hopkins comes in like a gunfighter going into a gunfight with only 1 bullet in the chamber. He's fighting, of course, in the man's hometown. He's fighting at 9,000 feet above sea level. It's going to be a tough fight, and indeed he does take that world title back to Philadelphia.
Boy, but Bernard is trim. Look at that musculature. Look at the definition. He is really trim. And let's see as we begin what should be the fight of night.
Round 1 scheduled for 12. The Executor comes right out with a right hand. Mercado cut that one right off the chin and back quickly up into the ropes.
And held on.
Hopkins, by the way, owns of his 19 knockouts, 12 of them in the first round.
Well, he's certainly starting out looking like he wants to duplicate that because he threw a thunderous punch. And it happened to connect, and it happened to bother Mercado. So right off the bat, this guy is looking at the executioner seriously.
Do you think this is the game plan, certainly, of Hopkins? I've got to get him early before the altitude catches up.
It sure would be mine if I'd brought a fighter in here 2 or 3 days before. Put all you whip it on at the beginning.
Well, he's setting down on punches early. Throwing a left-right combination off the break, goes a good left hand. Follows it with another solid right that sends Mercado into the ropes.
Mercado better start doing some fighting to keep this guy off.
He comes back with a combination, it's cheered by the crowd. But it's Hopkins that's doing the work. Mercado came back with a good uppercut. Look at Hopkins working the corner.
Hopkins is zinging those punches in there. They got a lot more steam and they're landing with much more accuracy than Mercado's. And he doesn't wait for that referee to break him freely. He's punching right off the bat. He is really steamed. Oh, Bernard Hopkins is coming here with a load of steam.
We're only halfway through the first round, and we've had a whale of a start to this one tonight. You see Mercado trying to hang on to kind of quieten his tempo down just a bit. Hopkins trying to cut off the ring, trying to trap him in the corner. He's got him there. Mercado swings around, got a good left hand to the body. Good left, double left hand that time by Hopkins.
And he's got Mercado in a little tiny bit of a problem. He's looking to grab him and saying, where are you? Let me stop this. Where are these punches coming from? Hopkins is outspeeding him, outthinking him, and out-hitting him. This is certainly no way to please the crowd. Referee having a hard time breaking.
Sam Williams of the U.S. is the referee. 2 of the judges are from the U.S. Paul Gibbs of Seattle. Al DeVito from West Orange, New Jersey. The other judge, Francisco Hernandez, is from Colombia. Halfway through, just a half a minute to go in the first round.
Hopkins has sure introduced himself with a bang to Mercado.
Mercado wide open for that left hook because Hopkins has found a home for it.
And they're trading bomber punches. It's only the first round. It's like either me or you. Nobody seems to be having any sense of this, except the executioner is doing much, much better.
And there's the bell to end what this crowd probably didn't want to see, a big first round by the American Bernard Hopkins.
Now you know where he is, right? You know where he is, right? All right. All I got to do is stay with your check. Stay with your check. You're not giving away nothing. You're taking it. You're not going to give him nothing. Keep the check on him. Keep it in his face. You heard me say, Bernard? Huh? Keep it in his face. Keep it in his face, man. Keep it in his face, baby.
Take your time. Pick it to pieces. Don't stand in front of him when you get him on the rope.
Don't worry so much about it. What you say you was going to do? Give me my shot. Give me my shot.
Well, Purdy, I guess if you wanted a ideal first round, that'd probably be it for Hopkins, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And it sure been his ear when he went back. 3 guys talking at one time doesn't make any sense. And the corner of Mercado looks like the polar ice cap. There's more ice down there than I've seen since Admiral Byrd showed his picture.
Sam Williams will get it cleaned out of there.
Look at that, Sam. Come on. Look at that. Oh, this referee is good. I mean, he is definitely. Sam Williams is definitely in charge of this fight.
He almost has the stare of a challenger or a champion himself.
Look at his built. He looks like he's been a fighter.
Round 2, Bernard Hopkins in the black with a gold trim. Multicolored to the country of Ecuador, belongs to their hometown, Segundo Mercado. He actually trained in a military school here in the Quito area, thus his association with a general who was killed in a helicopter accident several weeks ago, and really felt he needed that isolation to get himself ready for this fight, with all the distractions that are surrounding him as they are now.
Well, his main distraction is the executioner, Bernard Hopkins, who is curiously not fighting with the stamina and strength of the first round. He looked like he was going to take command. Now he's boxing him. Just the opposite of what his corner tried to tell him. Stay in his face. Keep throwing those punches. Now he didn't stay in his face. He's back here boxing. Let Mercado get himself together and try to take command of a round.
As we brought to your attention, in an earlier fight, Frankie Lyles kind of lived in the shadow of some of the other great amateurs despite winning a couple of national titles. Speaking of lack of amateur respect, it was Hopkins did most of his fighting, he said, on the streets of Philadelphia. I don't know if he won or lost all those. I'm not sure.
I think he won them because he's here. The people that lost are not around anymore.
Tough way to learn your skills. Said he went the wrong way, but at the age of 16 got his life squared around. Goes back into his neighborhoods in Philadelphia, works with the youngsters, and he lands a good right hand on Mercado, brings some blood to the right nostril.
Mercado trying to do some boxing here. Landed some good shots. Neither one of them have really taken command of this round. It's very strange that they both start out so hard, and then they've slowed down to what should have been the first round. This is what the first round should look like.
With left hand on the inside, Hopkins on Mercado coming after him.
Mercado too far away. Mercado, when he comes in, by the time he lands his blow, he's ready for a counter punch, and that's exactly what Bernard Hopkins is doing. He waits for him to throw, and then he can get it for a counter punch. He's got to close the distance, and he's got to punch with both hands, has Mercado.
Under a half a minute to go in the second round. Hopkins again not as active as he was in round one, but again picking his opportunities very carefully and doing a good job of it in the second round as Mercado tries to pick up the pace again here in this round.
But from too far away, by the time he gets there, the other guy's either gone or a counter punch is coming at him. He's got to cut that distance. He just has not been able to get the range yet, as Bernard Hopkins did in the first round. Now that's a nothing round. It's hard to figure out who gets that.
We're going to head into the Ecuadorian corner here and see exactly what their posture might be after the first two rounds.
Que le vaya al frente. Acuérdese de mí, boxeo le hace esquivar y después boxea, y después ya se queda con. Vamos, un poquito más de agua,
He's mainly being told to punch with more force, to close the distance, and to go to the body. Those are three things that they have repeated over and over again. Let's see if he punches with more steam.
Round three of this 12-rounder. Again, Hopkins not having his mouthpiece in. Sam Williams literally calling off Mercado's chase across the ring.
Gentlemen, the thing to do.
Now, Ferdy, the big question. Obviously, they want him to punch more and be a little bit more active. But how does he close?
Oh, he just got hit.
He did indeed. Down he goes.
He got hit just as he started to come in.
Sam Williams was only going to slip.
The referee didn't see it, and he got hit just as he came in, and he's got no legs under him now. He's looking at his corner, wild-eyed.
So Hopkins again with a good right hand. Mercado's down, and now he's trying to run for more damage. Another right hand, right in the back of the ear.
Hopkins has landed dynamite. Every time he's hit that big hand, he's hurt him somewhere. Look at he's looking for that hand now.
Good combination by Hopkins again. Backpedals Mercado. You talk about a bad way to try to cut the distance when a guy hits you that solidly. You don't want to get in close.
Yeah, now you need distance between you. But Hopkins steps in your front yard and says, okay, now comes the bad news. Out comes a mouthpiece. Mercado in trouble again.
Hopkins just pulling his way onto the ropes.
The referee tries to stop, and Hopkins gets in a sneaky punch.
And they're going to replace the mouthpiece, stopping the time. They'll wash it off and put it back in here in this third round.
And Mercado's not walking straight. I mean, he's jerking, walking.
Sam Williams again very much wanting to be in control. Make sure they're both in the neutral corner before he orders the box again. And here comes Hopkins.
Hopkins is a killer punching machine. He means every one of those punches to do damage.
Hopkins weighing in at 157, 158 for Mercado. Mercado enjoying a 2-inch height advantage and a slight reach advantage, but the punching power right now belongs to Bernard Hopkins. There's that good left hook that he throws well.
He throws it as a counterpunch. When the guy just lunges in, he waits just at the right moment and times off a counterpunch.
Mercado again, you see, hasn't closed any distance after Hopkins blocked him early on. Got him with a good solid punch, but again, as Mercado went down, Will is a slip, and Mercado trying to answer near the end of the round. Here comes Hopkins with a quick combination to fight off the ropes. Under a half a minute to go in the round. Good right uppercut by Mercado as Hopkins walked in with a couple of punches of his own.
He's cutting loose with everything he's got. There's a lot of desperation in those punches of Mercado. This fight is getting out of his control. He's getting hit by very hard shots.
And the bell ends round 3. Well, Bruce and Bobby watching this one back in New York, gentlemen. It's like this one's winding up to be a war.
Well, welcome back to Control Central in New York City, everyone. Bruce back along with Bobby Chez. And Bobby, you think it's a case of jitters in his first championship fight for Mercado?
Well, we know that Hopkins said he had the first fight jitters when he fought Roy Jones Jr. He came out like an animal in the first round, maybe to do just that to his opponent and maybe get Mercado a little flustered. Seemed to be doing the job.
It was called a slip. Was it a slip or was it a knockdown in that third round, Bobby?
Well, we'll take a look at the instant replay. And as you watch it, he's coming in. They told him to close the gap a little bit. And it's coming up right here, right hand. It's, you know, it's not really a clean knockdown. As you look at it closely, although he looks like he's a little doing a Leon Earl, if you will, a little wobbly leg. He just didn't hit him clean. They grappled. He kind of pulled him with his right hand. That's a really iffy call. I think no knockdown would have been clean enough.
You like Hopkins' aggressiveness?
Oh, right now he's doing a great job.
All right, let's go back to ringside in Quito.
Well, we can only tell you in person it happened right in front of us, and that was a nice, clean knockdown here. I don't know what the camera shows, but here, and not only that, but he got up on very wobbly legs.
Sam Williams has to play a man at janitorial service here as we get ready for the fourth round again. And then Mercado corner. Mercado trying to close the distance. Throws a couple of big punches that ignites the crowd. Hopkins trying to counter off the ropes. Mercado not letting go.
Something's gone in Mercado's leg.
Left leg, he's really shaking it here.
Yeah, like his knee locked on him or something. Something's motioning to his leg.
I tell you, that's a bad leg to do on that leg when you're trying to put all that weight, full power. It's not going to happen if that leg has gone sour in here in the fourth round.
Well, Mercado must feel some of the urgency now because he's fighting a lot harder than he was before. He's sort of gotten the jitters out of him, the looseness out of it. He's gotten gone, he survived, and now he's starting to fight a lot harder.
Hopkins waiting in. You saw him throw that lead right hand. Kind of feints with the left jab and then throws the right behind it. There's another good solid right hand just glancing off the cheek of Mercado. We're just kind of baiting Hopkins in there. Here the crowd halfway through this round wanting something to happen with the whistles. Mercado answers with a pretty good left hook. Is Hopkins starting to tire a little, Bernie?
Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. It's just that he's fighting a nice, cautious fight right now. I mean, he's taking his round off. But Mercado's not doing a whole heck of a lot more either.
Looked like Bernie was going to come out and make this his round, but he just kind of turned it off.
Yeah. Something happened in his leg that he keeps pointing to. I don't know what that is, whether he got hit or kneed there or whatever it is. He seems to have shaken it off, however.
Well, I'll have to be the first to admit that Bernard Hopkins is very cool under fire.
Oh, he is.
Here in Mercado's hometown, close to 16,000 plus cheering for their hometown hero. And he gets caught, does Hopkins. Mercado brings him to their feet again.
And
Hopkins
really
a little wobbly.
He caught him with a great big banging right hand, and he's right on top of him.
Hopkins tries to pat him off with the right hand, but here comes Mercado on top of him.
Great action. People are throwing something in the ring here. Some piece of paper or something came floating through there.
Under 15 seconds to go in the fourth. And Mercado's got him into the fight now.
Yep, he won this round.
Rumiñahui Coliseum is alive.
And he might have given himself some courage because he did not look like he was very happy those first 2 or 3 rounds.
And a bell ends the fourth round. Let's take a look at some of that action in the round.
That was a right hand that looked like it shook Bernard, and from there on out it encouraged and enlivened Mercado's exchanges, and he came to life.
We're not really sure where he might have hurt his leg. He did get it while he was attacking you.
Well, you know, that's the kind of punch that knocks you out. When you see a guy's head go like that and he's spread eagle like he was, it's amazing that he didn't go down.
They have not addressed the issue of the leg in his corner yet. Apparently no problems.
No, Mercado continued to stand, and his corner feels like he's turned the corner, and he said, now do some more of that and start taking command of the fight. He stood through the whole minute, did Mercado.
Well, clearly his best round. Bull Mercado comes out with a looping left hand. Hopkins ducking away from the attack that came right at him. Good counter punching by Hopkins as Mercado wildly closes the gap. And Mercado with good defense turns it on an offense. Digging the shots to the body of Hopkins. And now he starts to hot dog it up with Hopkins. I don't think he should feel that comfortable.
It's a little early for hot dog.
As he tried to just bait Hopkins in.
Hopkins is cool and calm, though.
He stayed cool, yes.
Yeah, he's not buying it yet.
Hopkins has got him in the corner. Mercado, though, is punching there.
Mercado's doing all the work. He's in the corner, and he's doing all the work. There's no question about it. His work ethic is picked up at least by 50% after that last big flurry.
His backs to the rope is a man that everybody here in Quito is cheering for from Ecuador. That is Segundo Mercado. Now he is complaining that he is being hit with some low blows. And the black with the gold tassels. The man who would love to take that title out of the other man's hometown is Bernard Hopkins of Philadelphia. Hopkins looked like, Bertie, he was in real trouble in this round.
Well, he's finding his way around. It's certainly not as easy a time as he had those first 3 rounds. Mercado seems like he's found his motion, found his rhythm, and his confidence, which is even better.
And you can tell also, Bertie, it may be by only inches at the moment, but he has indeed started to close that gap a little bit more.
Well, that comes when you get tired, and it comes when the punching starts to take its toll.
Very soon with that looping left hand. Good combination. Right hand got there.
There he goes.
He's in trouble. Hopkins caught a right hand right on the chin. In that exchange, the right hand puts him down for the first knockdown of the fight.
Solid punch. What Mercado is waiting for, he looks like a guy that's waiting to start a race, and he let him go.
The crowd in a frenzy as Mercado heads in. You see the clash of heads as they're up against the ropes.
Hopkins
And
shaking.
there's the bell to end round 5. And Sam Williams has to literally throw Mercado off the top of Hopkins, who went down in the 5th round. And it's going to be difficult to hear in any corners right now particularly for that corner, is again, Hopkins goes down in the fifth. Good combination by Mercado, got right on top of him. Purdy, let's take a look at it.
And it came like lightning because it was all in that inside punching where it didn't look like they were doing each other any harm. All of a sudden, see that right hand right there? That's what did it. That little right hand. His head just shook, his body shook, and he went down. Miracle he got up because he really got it. Oh, see how clean that was? That and the delayed reaction of him going back. Had he hit him that clean second shot, he wouldn't have gotten up.
Hopkins, you can see on the seat of his pants. And he was kind of in a total daze because he never saw that punch coming. You can see Williams trying to get in there at the end as the bell went into the round. And here comes Mercado to answer the bell in round 6.
Yeah, Hopkins is not quite all together yet, but this may be the place where altitude and conditioning take effect. Not only is he starting to take a beating, but he's starting to get hit directly, as we just saw by Mercado. Boy, these guys fight no matter whether they're breaking down. That is some tough fighting going on in here.
Hopkins trying to fire back here in the 6th. Sam Smith, Cody Pacheco, Showtime's championship boxing in Quito, Ecuador.
No quitting Hopkins. He's coming on but getting hammered by doing it. He may be too careless here.
I tell you, the uppercut of Mercado is proving to be a pretty good weapon. And then when Hopkins straightened up, he clocks him with the left right as they brawl in the corner. Not sure anybody got any real clean punches in there.
There's a lot of unclean body punches. However. Come on.
Hopkins coming in with a pretty solid right hand.
And it lifted him off the canvas a little bit and caused his leg to move in a strange way.
Now, Sam Williams has just warned Hopkins to break on his command.
He got hit again. Again, Mercado got hit. That's the second time he got hit. In this corner and on the ropes, and he won't let go. Look, he is hurt. Look at him. He is hurt. It's going to take the referee and 2 wrestlers to get him out of there. Now, Mercado has been hit and hurt.
Hopkins is coming right back after him. Keep in mind that Mercado went down in the 3rd round, even though he went down with a punch, it was ruled as a slip. And now he's literally being held up by the ropes as Hopkins is pounding away.
And he's missing most of those because of beautiful body action by Mercado, but Mercado's the one that's hurt. Mercado's even ripped his pants from all that shots he was taking, and it's Hopkins that's on top of the case right now.
Well, you never know it, but he arrived here on Tuesday in this high altitude. Said he did get a little work, and I say a little work in Denver, but that's a different piece of cake than here in Ecuador, just under 10,000 feet.
Oh, body shot that was very low by Hopkins. Oh, nice right hand by Hopkins. Another one by Hopkins.
Well, he's sitting down on it again, Purdy.
Oh, he's sitting on that right hand. He knows what damage he did with it. It's Mercado that's in danger now, not Hopkins.
30 seconds to go in the round.
Another right hand. Blocking him. He's getting hit by a lot of right hands with Mercado. How many of these can he take?
Keep in mind, at the end of each round, a fighter cannot be saved with a bell. So we have those flurries as we've had so far. A fighter could be in trouble if he goes down. And Mercado again lounges on the ropes just to keep himself righted for the end of the round.
Well, Hopkins is showing what it means to fight a Philadelphia fighter. They're never out and they come back winging. What a round for Hopkins.
So again, a big knockdown early in round 5. Hopkins apparently took that in the adrenaline.
Break 20 down. Rip that uppercut. Give me some hand speed. Don't worry about the power. All right? Stay with your dad, son. Stay with your dad. Come on. Check out this. Ready. Get the water.
Let's take a look at this early action. See that bump right on? You see that? If had his legs hit the canvas, that would have been a knockdown. In some places, they got a knockdown when the ropes hold you up like that. That was a superb right hand.
We'll do it. Let's go second. All right, son.
Well, Hopkins certainly, after being knocked down in the 5th round, getting all kinds of encouragement as he opens the bell for round number 7.
And let's see what this altitude does now to him. Right now, he has taken over after being almost out on his feet. What a fight, back and forth.
Mercado, you see the movement, trying to stay away from Bernard Hopkins in the 7th round. Hopkins again tries to close that distance in the corner. Mercado holding on to save himself from damage.
These guys just don't want to break when they get in close. That referee's working very hard. Good thing he's the guy.
Keep in mind that Hopkins was warned earlier by Sam Williams, the referee. And a good left hand by Hopkins. Or excuse me, by Mercado. Mercado slips. We were talking about the damp ice in that corner. He literally slipped on.
Seems silly to make a corner do that.
Well, you're talking about a hamstring or a groin pull. He could have easily had one right there. Hopkins goes right after him to give him even more trouble. Hopkins really working hard in the 7th round. With the altitude that was affecting him earlier, it's not right now.
No, and he's just in as much danger of getting knocked down as he was before, because Mercado seems to have gotten himself back together again. And although he's taking some punches, he's landing some good shots now.
He's been countering very well off the ropes, and then Hopkins persistently pushing to try to trap him and just hold him.
Hopkins the aggressor. Hopkins chasing. Hopkins wanting the knockout before this altitude takes effect on him.
Good combination thrown by Hopkins, intervened by a pretty good left hand by Mercado, who counters with another uppercut left hand.
They're whistling the referee, but for no reason. There was no reason for that.
Hopkins, you could almost hear that body shot. And now Mercado spins it in, and Hopkins is down.
There was a little tiny punch in that clinch that got Hopkins in trouble, just like it was before on the inside, a small punch. He gets up, he's mad. He's saying, no, it isn't. But he sure went down. And here comes Mercado.
So as we close in under a half a minute of this round, round number 7, Hopkins down for the 2nd time in the fight. And Mercado trying to put the finishing touches on it. If Hopkins folds up.
Hopkins is holding on with everything he's got. Here comes that referee again. He's separating him, and it's up to Mercado to get the job done.
Good left-right combination by Mercado. And there's the bell in the 7th round as Hopkins down for a 2nd time.
Incredible fight as we go back and forth with these rounds. It looks like they're different fighters fighting here. What a series of events which has made this fight one of the bigger brawls we've seen this year so far.
This fight was almost like the flags waving back and forth.
Let's take a look at what happened on the inside there. That little thing right there, that little uppercut. See how he's holding on? That little uppercut had him in terrible trouble. These are pushes. Nothing. That little uppercut, tiny as it was what did the damage. How often you see that infighting. If you know how to do it, it's devastating.
Hopkins, again, you recall, after going down earlier in the 5th round, came back and maybe had one of his better rounds in the 6th. Let's see if he can rebound again. He's going to need it. And again, Sam Williams has to detain the fighters for a moment as they do their cleanup job in Mercado's corner.
Well, Mercado is certainly building up points. Those are 10-8 rounds.
Round 8 with Hopkins of Philadelphia with his back to you. Mercado from right here in Quito on the right of your screen. Neither fighter has held a world championship. Hopkins has fought for one against Roy Jones Jr. but lost a 12-rounder. Mercado a golden opportunity in his home country.
There's nothing happening in Bernard Hopkins' legs. There's nothing happening down there. He's stepping.
Mercado, you see him holding and firing that uppercut. Hopkins tries to fire back as they exchange in a corner.
What furious action. Each man giving and getting about equal. I mean, both men hammered themselves there. That was no advantage to either guy. Tough fighting. That's the kind of infighting that you like to see with two guys just punching away and the referee letting him.
Hopkins almost kind of shaking off some of that hot dogging that apparently Mercado's still handing out. He's kind of shakes it and said, no, they're not phasing me. My ringmanship is going to take over here if I can hold up in this altitude.
As far as I have it, and of course, in this place, I would think I'm right this time. Mercado is ahead of Bernardo Hopkins because it's 2:10-8 rounds and because there were trading rounds back and forth. I mean, you know, it's a, in this place, you got to be giving credit to the guy who's putting the other guy down. In any place.
A little more blood coming from the nose of Mercado, but he's starting to dish out more punishment. Right in the center of the ring with Hopkins.
The crowd is absolutely in his corner, as you would expect it to be.
Digging left hand by Mercado. You could feel that one clear over here across the ring.
Look at that. He just won't let go. Hopkins is so tired that he won't let go. A small contingent of American fighters here rooting for him, trying to root him on, but they can't help him now. They can't help him here. What can help him is a nice short little punch that puts Mercado in trouble.
The only question I had to ask, as I mentioned, he may have come into this fight with one bullet in the chamber.
He may have shot it. Yeah, he may have shot it at the beginning of this fight.
Game plan was simple. He wanted to come out and put it away early. Mercado almost bit it early, but has certainly rebounded with 2 knockdowns of Hopkins in the 5th and 7th round. And he's fighting very smartly here in round 8.
Right. Something's bothering somebody here. What is it?
Mouthpiece has come out of the mouth of Mercado. They'll beat it, replace it, and hold the clock for a moment. Can't be more than just a few seconds till the end of the round, though. Which will finish the 8th round of a scheduled 12-rounder.
There was more fighting going on in the rows there. You look outside. Michael Spinks is giving directions with his arms. Oliver McCall is giving directions with his arms. Everybody's giving him directions. But.
Well, that's 8 rounds here from Quito. Gentlemen, it's winding up into a war. Let's go back to New York with Bruce and Bobby.
And what a turnaround by Segundo Mercado, Bobby.
I'll tell you what, I have 4 rounds to 4. Early, all Hopkins. Then Mercado came back. Then Hopkins came back. And now Mercado. The knockdowns are the difference. 2 points because of the 2 8-point rounds.
First knockdown came in round number 5. Let's take a look back.
Well, you know, Bernardo Mercado is just deceiving. He's on the ropes. He works off them well. To a nice right uppercut, catching Hopkins on the wind, and another shot, kind of a token, take this on the way down because it was a delayed reaction.
Hopkins had a good round in 6, but then in 7, another knockdown.
Once again, knockdown's going to kill him. Comes in again, another right uppercut, short inside. He's in trouble. A little bit of a delayed reaction. A couple more shots, and then he's just kind of, sort of slam, push, drag to the floor afterwards.
So 2 knockdowns by Segundo Mercado. Let's go back to Quito, Ecuador. Here's Sam Smith and Ferdy Pacheco.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're underway in the 9th round of this title fight. As Mercado on the right again has thrown some bombs in the 5th and 7th round, as you pointed out, a couple of knockdowns of Hopkins.
And I have it exactly as Bobby has it by 2 points and 4 to 4 in rounds, but there's 10-8 rounds. And boy, with this crowd here, would you hate to give it to the other guy after he's been knocked down twice?
As we pointed out, if he wins, the roof goes up. If he loses, the roof comes down.
On us.
You can see Mercado trying to step away from Hopkins, who has had a pretty good night if you base it on keeping him in the corner, but he hasn't been able to get the job done that he wanted to, Ferdy.
And right now he looks fresh after all this talk about altitude. He looks fresh, and Mercado does not. I mean, after all this talk, and this is his hometown, and he did train here.
He now lives in Quito. He's originally from the tropical beach area known as Esmeraldas. Descendants of African slaves migrating there and quite obviously settling the coastline and now living in Quito under the great training gear. And you see Hopkins still pulling punches and Mercado answering with 1 or 2 of his own.
Watch his head. That's what the referee's telling him. And that head keeps bobbing in there. Mercado is looking weary all of a sudden. I don't know why, but he is.
Hopkins been able to slip a couple of punches in there on the corner.
Yeah, that second little tank of gas hadn't kicked in with Mercado, but it has with Hopkins. For the first time he's bouncing instead of walking around. Uh-oh. Is it a cut? I do believe.
Oh, my. It's a pretty bad one right on the eyelid of the left eye. And it is a very bad cut, it looks like.
Well, we'll see when they get to the corner. It's hard to tell from here, but there is blood, and his head is right there. You see how Hopkins puts his head down. I'm surprised he has not been warned by the referee. Well, they're not going to stop it on a cut here, I guarantee you.
No, they're not. And by the way, in the IBF, all you got to go is 6 before they go to the cards if it's stopped on a cut.
Hopkins getting a good shot in, but he's getting hammered. He got a good right hand flush on the jaw of Mercado. That's the kind of stuff that's tiring Mercado, but he's getting pummeled. These two guys are really putting on a great fight.
And he had to that. It goes to the cards if indeed it was ruled as an accidental butt. It was not ruled by the referee, Sam Williams, or at least not an indication. Nonetheless, there is a bad cut over the left eye of Mercado.
I don't think they're going to bother him. Not in this climate, not with this roaring crowd. Big, deep breath by Mercado off the ropes, like saying, well, this round never ends.
And they have to be separated again as the bell goes off in the corner of Mercado. Poor Sam Williams. I don't know what kind of money a referee makes in a world title fight, but it's not enough tonight. Wow. Well, that cut is certainly being looked at frantically now in the corner. While on the other side, they're trying to rally Hopkins.
Here's the butt.
Not a lot of doubt.
Hey.
Oh, my.
Kind of obvious.
You can almost see that cut opening right after.
Gosh. That was not one of those things you didn't quite see. Everybody saw that. But no one said anything. Let's see if Mercado's got his second win and start going, because he's let Hopkins take these last 2 rounds looking good and strong.
He's coming out like a house of fire. Hopkins is trying to defuse him. They're exchanging World Championship style above us.
Yes, they are. That's it. That is World Championship competition. Give and take of the strongest kind. Hopkins getting the worst of it because Mercado punched more and landed better.
By the way, Purdy looking into Mercado's corner during that last round. Not a lot of heads moving, which means not a lot of conversation as they work.
And they sat him down.
Yes.
They sat him down for the first time to work on a cut. They have to. I personally think it's foolish for a fighter not to sit down anyway. I don't know any particular advantage you get standing up.
Mano a mano just goes so far, didn't it?
Yeah. But right now, Mercado has shot a big shotgun load, and he looks like he's back to being tired. He came out, won the first part of that round big, and now is running again. Or as close as you can come to running from a guy standing right next to him.
Hopkins, by the way, has been 10 rounds 3 times and 12 rounds 3 times as well. Mercado has gone 10 once and 3 times in 12-round fights. He went 10 in his last win in February, while a big win by Hopkins over former world champion Lupi Aquino in the last fight for Hopkins.
Well, if you're ever in doubt when somebody says define a Philadelphia fighter, show him this fight. This kid is a Philadelphia fighter. No quit. All hammering, hooks, and punches, trying to get his way no matter what. And he is really putting on a performance. Mercado as well, trying to do as best he can for his countrymen. It's a pretty even fight now, even though those 2 knockdowns are going to make a difference in the scoring.
In the 5th and the 7th, Hopkins went down, both with a right hand by Mercado, who again is bleeding from the left eye, just above the eye. But again, will not stop the fight. We're in the 10th.
Look at how long it takes him. You know why? One of those guys is very tired and doesn't want to be separated.
And you probably could flip a coin to decide which one it is.
Right now, I think it's Mercado.
And Hopkins really has come on strong. You made mention he's fought well in the last 3 here, Cody.
Yeah, he has. He's slowly pulling even. And that would be something to see, a guy win a title after having gone down twice. Not that it hasn't been done.
Under a half a minute to go. It's now Mercado. Oh! Looked like he was running away and ran a wild left hook right back at Hopkins.
That was Willie Mays' throw from left field. He ran away, caught the ball, and threw it all in one motion. He was running away and came back and threw one punch. Jersey Joe Walker used to do that a lot beautifully, I might add.
I think I saw that in the funny papers, too. It was a sucker punch or a palooka.
You just think that a guy is going away, and the next thing you know, he's hit you.
And there's the bell to end the 10th round. 6 minutes away from a decision. But who's to know the way they're fighting right now that one of these guys might not go down and out.
This is going to be very close. Again, perhaps, just perhaps, the judges will be influenced by this enormous, almost sellout crowd of people that are really rooting with everything they've got for their countrymen. Mercado.
You can almost hear the crowd. They kind of relax for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, they take their breath for a minute. As they're on their feet, flags waving, drums beating.
They just said, you're so close, you got to play it now. Play it for your sister. Play it for the general. Play it means gambling. Juégatelo. Gamble yourself.
So again, the sister of Segundo Mercado again commits suicide a week ago. One of the outstanding generals in Ecuador and a friend and a mentor of Segundo dies in a helicopter crash, and thus he dedicates the fight to them, and that's the reason they're trying to get him pumped up here for the 11th round.
They're exhorting him to just let it hang out, one way or another. Just let it hang out.
You got the feeling Hopkins' corner's doing the same.
Yeah, they got to be feeling a little bit better because they're seeing their fighter getting a little bit stronger and looking good. After all this conversation about not coming in here in time, and still he's out here like a punching machine. So much for that theory.
Hopkins again. You can see Mercado holding that left hand. Hopkins staying busy with the right hand.
Mercado just looking like he's wearing like a fortress being pounded to rubble.
If Mercado didn't have enough ammunition coming in against Hopkins, Hopkins defeated one of his 3 brothers that fought in the Mercado family early in his career back in May of '91. Went by the nickname of Howdy. Name was Hodang. And he knocked him out in 3 rounds, so there was a little bit of revenge, but that's been thrown out the window.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything on fight strips.
Both fighters gaping at the mouth, trying to find some air.
And nothing happening with the cut. Cut has been well taken care of. Not a factor in this fight, I repeat, not a factor in this fight.
Hopkins almost getting back to his stalking style again. Good left hook, but Mercado, he tries to run away from it.
Well, he's been punching and running, and it's working for him.
Good right hand by Mercado as he kind of hot dogged a bit.
His trunks are coming apart. His whole back end is coming apart here. I don't think they count points for that, though. Now, heads are really bumping. All right. Williams said, watch the head again. That time it was Mercado that was using it.
That took by Hopkins. May have had some steam early on, but not now.
He's just trying to outbox him, trying to land punches and moving. Hoping to win this round, and he sure needs it. Hoping to win this round. Hoping not to make it get to the last round to decide this fight.
You see how quickly Hopkins comes fighting off the break the minute Sam Williams hollers for a break or separates him. He comes right back at him. Hopkins again with a good right hand and followed with a left hook to the head.
Hopkins looking the fresher, and he is the aggressor.
Mercado trying to come back to steal a few precious moments of the 11th round.
He's doing all right while he's outside popping and moving, but when he gets close, Hopkins eats him up.
That's the 11th round. We'll head for the 12th and final round in this world title fight, and they are going to be delirious here in Quito.
This is the last round, baby. This is the last round. You gotta fight for it. Last round. Last round. 12th round. Gotta get him. Out of here. He's scared. He's scared. He don't like this fucking blood. Come on, tell him, Pappy, baby. Go all the way now, baby. Let's roll from the bottom up, baby. From the bottom up.
into the 11th round, and a bone-weary Mercado is getting outspeeded by Hopkins, and where he's getting his energy for, I have no idea, because here's a man that should by all rights be tired, and yet he's not, but Mercado is, and he lives here. So much for the theory of physiology, fighters, and altitude.
This is the 12th and final round for the IBF middleweight vacant title.
And this could, they want to touch gloves, and they're having trouble negotiating it. This could very well be the title right here.
What do you got?
I got it dead even, but I mean this little spurt that Hopkins has put on, like the last fight where Nunn put on a spurt and looked the fresher and looked the better. Now Mercado's choosing to outbox him and just gain points by outboxing and outpunching him when he gets to a punch out. Look at that.
Worry in the corner. Now, two men that have gone 11-plus rounds in 9,000-plus altitude in Quito. But one will survive as the champion. Which will it be in this final 3 minutes?
Well, this is another toss-up. Last one was a toss-up. This one is.
A slip by Hopkins. It's going to be very interesting. A knockdown in the 5th and the 7th round by Mercado. Hopkins could very easily determine this fight today.
Mercado's fighting like he's happy if the round goes by without getting knocked out, because he's not doing anything right now except boxing beautifully. He's just boxing, trying to get out, and trying to outstarch him when it comes to combat. So he must be boxing like he's got as much confidence in winning here as could possibly be. And Hopkins is not really getting to him either. So.
Cover up in the center of the ring is here. This crowd trying to encourage Segundo.
They are two tired warriors. Tired. Mercado taking as much time off the clock as he can. He is sitting on that rope just trying to take the... Oh, all of a sudden Hopkins caught him.
Mercado
in trouble.
Mercado grasping to try to hang on. Hopkins had caught him with something.
He caught him, and they're both so tired they can't finish in any kind of style. But Hopkins is a pressure. Look at those punches this morning.
Hopkins trying to load up in the final 45 seconds.
Mercado is weary. A guy that looks like he would go down if this thing went for 2 more minutes.
Under a half a minute to go. Mercado just hanging on for dear life. Hopkins still fighting on. A marvelous display of the Philadelphia painter and battler who came from the tough side of Philadelphia.
I don't know if they can give it to Bernard Hopkins, but in my book he's won this title here. I don't know if they can give it to him with this crowd, but if he can't, then it'd be a shame. We won't know until it's over.
And it's over. In the ring already. 30 hope there's going to be ring crew up there.
Well, I'm not so worried about there being a space as what's going to happen if they announce that Bernard Hopkins won, and it's not at all sure, of course, that he did. It's only my opinion. It was a marvelous fight. It could go either way, sir.
You felt he won the 12th round?
I felt he did. I felt the other guy was on the way out. He was doing nothing but surviving, and Bernard was still fresh enough to chase him, as you can see with these punches. You see how... Whether he's hitting or not, he is the one that's sharp. He's the aggressor. And the other guy's in a survival mode. The ropes aren't there. That guy's stretched on the canvas. I mean, he needed the ropes to keep him up. So, that's the way it is.
We think back as we watch the tail end of this 12th round. Mercado, again, they ruled a slip back in the 3rd round. The ropes really held him up as they do again here in this round.
Yeah, he knows how to use ropes. He's a very good fighter. A very good fighter is Mercado. I think... Against everything we thought about, the guy with the energy is Bernard Hopkins at the end. The guy that was exhausted is Mercado at the end. So we'll see. I mean, if the judges got enough guts to give it to Bernard Hopkins in a land where 99% of the people are rooting for Mercado or Sousa.
Paul Gibbs of Seattle, Washington, Francisco Hernandez of Colombia, and Al DeVito of West Orange, New Jersey are the men in the hot seat right now. They have collected their cards as you see how well Hopkins finished out the 12th round as Mercado continued just to kind of run from him. They got caught in that 12th round. And where Hopkins ever got the stamina, the strength, to continue as he did through 12 solid rounds is going to be something they'll be talking about for a long, long time to come. You see the pandemonium in the ring. You can imagine what it's going to be after the decision one way or the other. Is it Mercado, first ever Ecuadorian to win any world title? As a matter of fact, their soccer teams have not been of the class to get them close to a World Cup, so they haven't enjoyed a lot of great success in the sport. And he's hoping to be the first, as he says, to go down in history. Philadelphia's proud boxing history, though, rests on the shoulders of this young man. No middleweight has ever won a world title, but Bernard Hopkins may be very close to doing that tonight. It may be a knockdown in the 5th and a knockdown in the 7th that denies him that opportunity here tonight. And the crowd is anxiously with their whistles waiting for that decision to be made. Purdy, by the way, has departed ringside and will, as the game competitor he is, will fight the crowd to get in the ring for the interviews after the decision has been made. Mercado fought a fight that at times looked like he was just kind of waltzing through, letting Hopkins kind of carry the fight, and then, like a snake out of the dark, he would lash out and catch Hopkins. Hopkins with a clear headbutt opened up that devastating cut over the left eye in the 10th round that played no effect on this outcome of the fight, however. And then Mercado going down, putting Hopkins down twice, really may have been the telltale signs of it. But Hopkins fought so brilliantly in the last 4 rounds as he hopes to kind of stood it away in Jimmy Lennon, even trying to find his spot in the ring after the cards and the decision. Jimmy's checking over the cards. Let's head it upstairs. The moment of truth is here. Is it Hopkins, the first middleweight champion in Philadelphia? Or is Mercado, the first ever Ecuadorian champion of any kind? Here's the decision with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Damas y caballeros, tras de 12 rounds, aquí está la decisión. Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, here are the score totals. El juez Hernández tiene la pelea 116 a 114, 116 to 114, Mercado. El juez Al DeVito anota 114 a 111, 114, 111 a favor de Hopkins. El juez Paul Gibbs tiene la pelea 113 a 113, 113 to 113, a draw. La decisión es un empate. The decision is even, a draw.
Who will be the champion? Well, we've seen a couple of great fights here in Quito, but we're not through, as Ferdy Pacheco somewhere in that crowd will rejoin you in a moment. Right now, let's send you back to New York to Bruce and Bobby. Fellas?
So what a fight, Bobby Chaz. It ends up as a draw, which means they're going to have to do it again.
I'll tell you what, I give the last 4 rounds to Hopkins. Clearly, he closed the show. He got it done. He won that title, and you know, I know they wanted to get out of there alive, so a draw probably fairly reasonable for the crowd's sake.
Going back to the 2nd round for a moment, I have written down not much, and that was a round that you scored for Hopkins and I scored for Mercado, and I think the judges could have seen it anyway.
I gave the first 3 rounds to Hopkins and then 2 to Mercado, and it was back and forth all the way through.
All right, standing by in the ring is Ferdy, so let's return once again to Coliseo General Rumiñahui in Quito, Ecuador.
Thank you, Bruce. Welcome back once again to Quito. By the way, there's only been 8 draws prior to tonight in the championship fight in the middleweight division, but they add the 9th. And again, is there a rematch in the offering? Ferdy Pacheco is upstairs in the mob. He'll find out to try to resort this thing. Let's go upstairs to the fight doctor here in Quito.
Well, you can imagine the excitement here. Everybody's mad on both sides. Butch Lewis is mad. And let me talk to the fighter who fought his heart out. Tell them what you just told me. You fought your heart out.
I'd like to give all praises to Allah. My family, my mom, them been rooting for me. Look like that house gonna be on hold for a minute, Mom, but I think I pulled it out by one point. I'm a warrior. I'd like to thank Butch Lewis and all the hard training in camp. I'm fighting at a high altitude. Everybody thought that it was gonna bother me, but it bothered him more than me. We gotta do it again. Don King and Butch Lewis put on a hell of a show. I showed a big heart, a warrior's heart. I think I pulled it out the last 2 rounds. I don't think it was a knockdown the second time, but Segundo Mercado is a tough fighter. I'm in his backyard. I think I should get the benefit of the doubt of fighting this high altitude and then this second.
All right. Now, for a man who has a strong perspective always, Butch Lewis, let Butch have a say-so.
Well, Freddie, the cards were stacked against us. He was holding on. He was fighting. They brought us in. We came in 3 days before the fight. My warrior, Bernard Hopkins, bit down. We had him down. It was a real tough fight. He was holding on throughout the fight. It was never a situation where we, under any circumstances, should have come out of here to a draw. We should have come out here definitely with the win.
All right, a disappointed fighter, an irate manager, and Don King, the promoter of this, who has another attitude about it.
He lost the fight. Everybody sees it in TV land. Everybody on Showtime Championship Boxing. The man got knocked down twice. The referee counted him twice. And he end up and get a draw. And all of the judges come from the United States. This is not right. This is not right. I call it like I see it. I don't give it. But he was hitting more punches. He won the fight. And so you got a problem there. You got a problem there. But he lost that fight. Segundo Mercado won the fight. You didn't pull it off. No, you did pull it off. You did pull it off, but you didn't do it in the ring. You know what I mean? You didn't. This is wrong. So it's okay. It's a great fight, though. That's one thing nobody can complain about. It was a great fight. Both fighters fought very hard.
It was a great fight. We're looking for Mercado now. If you could, I had him ahead by one. Mercado, ven para acá. And I think it was one of the best championship fights I've seen in a long
It's all right if you win it. I ain't got no problem. When you win it, you got it. I don't care about that.
Let me talk to the fight. Get tus crees de tabla.
Bueno, no.
I'm asking, what does he think of the draw?
La pelea la gané ampliamente. Le he dado 2 knockdowns.
He knocked him down twice, and he beat him.
Él es un buen boxeador.
Very good boxer.
Buen boxeador y lo admiro y espero que siga adelante.
And he admires him, and he hopes that he goes forward and do this again.
In our hometown next.
Tú vienes a pelear en América.
Cuando quiera.
Wherever he wants. Between these two managers, the fighter says anytime he wants, and the fighter says anytime he wants.
Mi hermano de deporte y hermano de sangre.
He said he's my brother in sports. No problem. And a nice hug and a shake between two fighters that have given us a tremendous fight. And we're going.
You are that. But you lost that one. You lost that one. You got a break. So you got an early Christmas present.
Well, Don, now here the two of us. When can we put this barn burner together again? In a neutral. He don't have to come. Let's get neutral and get busy then.
Well, we should have been neutral there. We should have been neutral with all of the officials and everything else. But listen, it's a good fight. But it's still Segundo Mercado won the fight. You know what I mean? So that's what makes controversy.
That's why when me and him get together, we can never agree on anything.
Yeah, this was a better fight than the end of the fight. All right.
Well, Doc, you gave me your opinion, Doc, and I respect you as an announcer. You gave your opinion. I can live with that.
You guys are going to have to go do it again. It was so close it could go either way. It's a draw, so you'll do it again. So now, from all of this excitement, Merry Christmas to everybody. From Butch Lewis, from Don King. Feliz Navidad.
Lo importante que hemos hecho una buena pelea. Bernard Hopkins, un gran boxeador. Igual lo admiro mucho. Pero tiene que reconocer que le gané, pero hay que seguir adelante. Cuando quiera, le doy la revancha donde sea.
All right. No matter where, we'll have a rematch. We'll all have a good year. We love each other. We're all sports figures. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Back to ringside. Where's Wyatt?
Thank you, Purdy. And quite obviously, the column under the